Okay, all right, let's look at these. In example 1, notice you're going to take negative 4 to the second and then 2 to the fifth to the second. Be very careful and check your papers that you actually put a parenthesis around that negative 4, because if you don't, that means something else. And then I showed you how to, let me go back here. There's your 16 times 2 to the 10th, and you get your exponent by the caret key. All right, now, in letter B, there was more than one way to do this. I went ahead, since the exponent was negative 1, I subtracted because I knew a negative 3 times a negative 1 was going to be positive 3, okay? So if you do some forward thinking, you just think about, well, what would happen if I went this path? Because we're going to see there's lots of different ways. Now, I want us for a moment just to play, okay? Let's play with math. I want you to look at your calculators, okay? And clear your screen, and then I want you to just type in 11 and enter. And this is just interesting, okay? Now I want you to do 11 squared, and then I want you to do 11 cubed. Do you guys know where the cube button is, not with the caret? Did you know you can press math, and number 3 is the cube, okay? It's under math, number 3. Okay, now let's do 11 to the 4th. And again, we're just playing with numbers right now. And that's just a good thing to do sometimes. Now, do you notice there's like this fun little pattern going on?
Oh,
it's 11, 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 3, 1, 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. Unfortunately, the fun stops right there. Because when you do this, it's like, oh. But I just know when I was messing with, 11s, I was like, that's a really interesting pattern. It does continue that it begins and ends in a 1. Then do you notice that from the right side, moving left, that's the exponent. So let's see if that continues. 11 to the 6th. Okay, so I mean it does do that, but then I can't figure out there that no longer has, like, have you ever heard of a palindrome where like the word mom is the same spelled forwards and backwards? So numbers can be a palindrome where 1, 4, 6, 4, 1 is the same whether you went forwards or backwards to it. This is kind of a little tidbit, interesting, thought I would share. All right, now letter C, that's 4 to the 6th, which is 4,096. In D, now I want to pause here on D for 2 different reasons. One is I've seen students who do this. Like if you have x squared times x cubed, you know that's x to the 5th. But if students see 2 squared times 2 cubed, I have seen students who want to say that's 4 to the 5th. But it didn't say take x times x and make it x squared to the 5th. So, and let me demonstrate, like it just doesn't work. 2 squared is 4. 2 cubed is 8. Now, can somebody use their calculator and tell me what's 4 to the 5th power? 1,024, and that's 32. Those are definitely not equal, right? So you can't, that's not true. So I just wanted to make sure that no one said that was 64 to the 4th power, okay? That doesn't make sense. It's not true. Now, let's put our thinking caps on, and letter C, my 4 to the 6th gave me the same thing as negative 8 to the 4th. That's not a happy accident. There's a really, really good reason, and this might pay off later for us if we dig into this. What's another way to write 4 instead of just 4? It's 2 squared, right? So watch this. If I rewrite 4, okay, I'm going to take this piece right here, and if I take 2 squared to the 6th, that's 2 to the 12th, right? Okay, now let's think about negative 8 to the 4th. Well, okay, if you take that negative to the 4th power, it's positive. So let's ignore the negative, okay? And so we'll just say we're going to look at 8 to the 4th. What's another way to write 8? 2 cubed. Good job. Well, watch this. 2 cubed to the 4th. They are, in fact, equivalent. Isn't that cool? I mean, to see how you can rewrite it. And that'll pay off for us later if we can look for it. All right, letter E. 2/3 cubed is 2 cubed over 3 cubed. So we get our 8 over 27. All right, next idea, scientific notation. First period told me that you guys recently have done this in science. Okay, so this is good. It says a number is expressed in scientific notation if it's in the form C times 10 to the n, where C has to be a number between 1 and 10, but strictly less than 10. So, let me give you 2 examples and 2 non-examples. And when I get to the non-examples, I want you to tell me why it doesn't work. So I could have 2.1 times 10 to the negative 2. That's an example. I could have 9.87 times 10 to the 5th. Now let me give you a non-example. What if I give you 0.87 times 10 to the 3rd? I mean, I have a times 10 to the 3rd. Why isn't that scientific notation, Andrew?
There has to be like one like on the left side of the decimal, one number.
Yeah, Jaslyn, can you tidy his explanation up?
You have to make it like the significant figures, where it's 8.7.
Okay. Yes, Noah?
It's less than 1.
Okay. Yeah. You're saying the right thing. Let's just clarify it is you need that. No, you're right. I need the decimal between the 8 and the 7, but the reason why is the definition of scientific notation is the number has to be between 1 and 10, but strictly less than 10. Okay, here's one more non-example, and I want to see if you can tell me why it isn't. How about 10 times 10 to the 7th? Noah?
It would just be 10 to the 8th.
Yeah, do you see this? I mean, I didn't make a mistake up here. This says strictly less than 10. So it can't be 10, and Noah's right. This would become just 10 to the 8th, okay? You could take it one more power. All right, let's look at 2 examples. It said a swarm of locusts may contain as many as 85 million locusts per kilometer and cover an area of 1,200 square kilometers. About how many locusts are in such a swarm? Well, it's assumed you remember that a million has 6 zeros. So 85 million would be 85 and then with 6 zeros. So then if you know there's 85 million in 1 kilometer and you have 1,200 square kilometers, we're going to need to multiply these. So let's convert them to scientific notation. And then I'm going to show you scientific notation on your calculator. So that's 8.5 times 10 to the 7, because that's how many decimal places you'd need to move. And then that's 3. Have you guys ever used scientific notation on the calculator before? Some yes, some no. Okay, well I'm going to go over it as if we've never seen it. All right, here we go. If I want to take 8.5 times 10 to the 7th, you don't enter it the way that you think. Your calculator has a built-in program for scientific notation, and it's under the comma, this EE. Why they chose that, I do not know. But you're going to press second and the comma and a 7 and close your parenthesis. That actually represents 8.5 times 10 to the 7th. And then we're just going to put a parenthesis, 1.2, and you do second, the comma button, 3. And it gave it my answer in scientific notation, which is really convenient. So that's 1.02. Now don't ever write on a paper an E or an EE. Okay, don't do that. Now let's look at the question again. What did we find? What does this number mean? How many locusts there are. So there's 1.02 times 10 to the 11th locusts. Okay? All right, now let's look at the last one. It says a federal, or no, this isn't the last one. This is the last example. Word problem. A Federal Reserve gold bar weighs 400 troy ounces. what is the weight of 250,000 of the gold bars? So you would need to take 400 times 200,000. Well, let me show you another really neat feature of your calculator. So if I'm going to take 400, I don't even need to put it in scientific notation. And I press enter. Now your calculator has a mode that's scientific mode. So do you guys see the mode key right here in the top left? It says mode, press it. It says normal, scientific, and engineering. I personally have never used engineering. I'm hoping somebody uses that, but I don't. So press enter, so it's now on scientific. Press second and mode to quit. And now press enter, and it will take any of your answers and convert it for you into scientific notation. So that should help you greatly in your science classes, especially if you are in chemistry. Chemistry will help a lot. So that was 1 times 10 to the 8th. And what did we find?
Ounces.
Troy ounces, okay, whatever those happen to be.
You set your calculator back to
Yes, good point, Noah. Go back to your calculator and in mode, go put it back on normal, or you'll get frustrated that all the answers are now, instead of getting 123, you're going to get 1.23 times 10 to the second. Okay, I'm going to give you a head start on me, and I want you to try example 4. Try all 5 of those. And then with whatever time we have left, we'll do some 50s music. Remember, no negative exponents are allowed.